going on, guys? I just wanted to make a quick video to talk about something I just added to the bike and talk about something I just ordered that is on the way that is hopefully the final addition to the old ride. As many of you know, I don't do tutorials or how-tos or step-by-step installs. All I do is I add things to the bike. I tell you what I've learned, the techniques and tricks I may have learned along the way to help you all out. Plenty of videos out there on how-tos and step-by-steps if you want to learn how to do things, but that's not what I'm about. So we'll get right into it. Added a set of Protaper ATV highs, the 7/8 or SE series 7/8 bars. Just do a little walk around here. You've seen other videos on the back wheel, installed these. I'm sure there's many others out there, but I do want to share a few little things I did do or had to figure out with the T-Rex bark buster guards. A little bit of modification had to be done there, and unlike a lot of people, I drilled for my housings, for my switch housings, and I drilled for my factory what do you call those, wire loom holder deals. So the biggest thing I had to do to get these T-Rex ends on is these T-Rex ends are made for the stock bars. I got the stock bar sitting over here. I don't know if any of you have taken these off, but the stock bar, there it is, tapers at the end, and that's where the little T-Rex, it's not really a weight, it's just a little billet aluminum cap, slides onto that. Well, the Protaper bars do not have that taper on the ends. So I had to do a couple different things. For starters, I took these aluminum caps off. I don't want to call them weights because they're not really weighted, they're just caps, decorative caps. There's some rigidity to them too that would help in an impact, and that's why I didn't want to just put spacers in it. So I took these and I just put them in the vise, and I took a little die grinding bit, and I just went around and around and around on the inside of that and just made the inside diameter of that inside of that cap larger. But I didn't want to go too large because I wanted to maintain the integrity strength of, you know, if this would go down or get hit, and I wanted to keep as much strength as possible. So then I also took the same die grinder and some sanding barrels, and I went around the end of the new Protaper bars, and I took most of the meat off of these T-Rex caps, but then I took a little bit of meat off the end of the bar too, just enough to get them on and where they'll slide in and out. The other thing is, for the ones that don't know, are the stock bars are tapped. They have a threaded insert. So you also have to buy these. I think others have talked about them in their videos. These were given to me, but I think you can pick these up on Rocky Mountain or Revzilla or wherever. There's a part number for these. I had to use the 13.5 millimeter insert. That's another part number if you need that. Those are just the ones I didn't use. Those are the larger ones. I used the smaller ones. So those just slide inside the end of the hollow bar after you pop off the cap that Protaper has in there. And there's a little cone-shaped expansion nut. As you tighten it down, it expands that little insert and holds the bar end in. So that's about the extent of what it takes to put these on. There is less room on these bars. They're a little bit tighter. I had probably an extra inch, 3/4 of an inch to an inch of straight pipe or straight bar here before it started to bend on the stock bars. I'll hold those up here in a second. Sorry for moving around so much. I'm just trying to do this unedited. As you can see, stock bars got a little bit more length to it, and they are, let's see if I can hold them up to where there's a direct comparison. There you go. Yeah, quite a bit more length, and they don't come up as high. Yeah, about like that. So that's what you're gaining. Or should I say you're losing a little bit of width, which isn't a bad thing, in my opinion. And you're gaining a little bit of height and a little bit of pullback too. The only thing I don't like about these is that little bit of pullback in the seated position. In the standing position, I love that. Feels perfect. So as I said, I drilled. Most guys will just break the little tab off in these housings, and that would allow these to rotate. Guys go in there and they wrap electrical tape or a rubber insert or something like that to keep them from rotating. But I wanted a more factory fit, something that hopefully that won't fail or turn on me. So I did drill and drill into the bars and did not snip off that little nub that is in this back housing that keeps that from rotating. And what I also did with mine, it's kind of hard to tell, but you notice my switches are a little bit higher up. I'm a tall guy, and this is probably about my angle. I wanted those switches facing me a little more instead of at my chest or my belly area. So since I went through the hassle of drilling those out to put them where I wanted, I rotated them up just a little bit just to put these switches at my face. Personal preference, you can put them where you want. As far as how to mark where you want them, that's honestly the trickiest part. So what I did is this back, like I said, the back housing has that little nub on it that most guys cut off. So I just took a white paint marker. I got everything lined up where I wanted, and I just dabbed paint, a little bit of this white paint marker, on that nub, and then just pressed it up. I had all this off. I had all the guards off, had the mirrors off, had my phone mount off, and then I just got everything where I wanted, and then I just kind of press fit it together, and it left a little white mark. I mean, it's still kind of fudging it, but it gets it way closer than you could just trying to guess or even measure, because I know they say measure twice, cut once, but that usually ends up the opposite for about everybody I know. So that was the best way I found. I used a little punched a little hole where the white paint marker was on the bar. Used a small pilot bit, drilled a small pilot hole, and I can't even tell you what size drill bit I used, because all I did was I went over to my drill bit drawer, found the hole on the stock bars, and just found the one that fit. I have a lot of metric bits. I want to say it was a 4.5 millimeter or 5 millimeter bit, something like that. A little front angle there. So that's all I did to mark and drill those. Of course, you got to get your grips where you want them. Taking a count that little bit of that 1/4 inch of gap where these caps slide on. If you have these type, if you have the stock bar ends, I don't think they go on as much. And I don't know if you would need to do all that grinding with the stock bar ends or not. I cannot comment on that. I did not bother to get my stock ones out when I did this. So you can see they got the marks, kind of good reference marks there on these Protaper bars. Nice solid removable crossbar here. And then, of course, you got the pad there, and you got multiple colors or whatnot you can replace those with. The other thing I did, since I had the drill bit out and drilling all the holes, I also, like I said earlier, I drilled out for those little factory clips that hold the wires in place. I did not have to move cables around too much. I did end up putting the throttle cables kind of on the bottom side of all these wires. I think originally they were on the top, so I did put them on the bottom side of these wires. Kind of minimal gains, but I feel it did help a little bit. And as you can see, I do have bar risers as well. Those are the Tusk, I apologize, I think they're 30 millimeter risers. I'll include a link in the description to everything I mentioned in this video. So I think that's about it. Like I said, these are the Protaper ATV highs. I showed you the part number for that. Those are going in the scrap bin. Nah, just kidding. I'll throw them on the shelf, save them for whatever. I'm a pack rat and I don't throw anything away. But I think that's about it. I'll go for a test drive maybe tomorrow if it doesn't rain all day. Give you guys a idea of how it changed. But just standing on it here in the garage, I don't want to get the tripod out and show you. But I'm a tall guy, as I've said before, and I wanted to get these bars. I wanted to get them further in, so when I'm standing, I didn't feel like I was stretching all the way out. I mean, just an inch makes a huge difference. Plus, it brings them up a little bit. Now, in the seated position, it is kind of a weird, kind of turns your wrist in compared to the stock bars. I'm a taller guy with long arms, so maybe I'm just used to having my elbows out, and now I might have to turn my elbows in a little bit. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think it was just what I was used to, not so much what is needed. I did mess up my Oxford heated grip. I didn't mess it up getting it off the stock bar. I actually messed it up putting it on this one. These have a machined cross hatch pattern in them, and I'm used to a smooth bore bar, and normally you just lube them up and slide them in, maybe tap them in with a little rubber mallet or something. And that's what I tried to do, and I messed it up. And then I found out with this little cross hatch pattern, just kind of saw it on and they walk right on. So lesson learned on that. I'll have to order another one of those. It messed up the wiring. You can see it's kind of janked up here. I just put it back on. So that will, as soon as I get a new one of those in, it does not work. Right one works fine, left one is toast. So lesson learned. I'll order a new one. And I did trim down the, there was an extra piece of rubber on the end of these. I did lose a little bit of space here. And this is a little tight too for my phone mount. That's why it's a little bit crooked. Got a quad lock on there. But it all worked out pretty good. And my Atlas, for those that haven't seen some of my other videos. So the next thing that's coming for the bike is that thing. I did end up ordering a Seat Concepts complete seat. I got the tall version. I went with the tall version because I hope it takes this dip out. Because I tend to sit, you can kind of see where my butt sits on the seat here, right back in here. I don't sit up here because my legs are so long. So since I sit back here, I sit on that rise a little bit and it hurts my tailbone. So I'm hoping this Seat Concept seat takes this dip out because they are 1.5 inches taller for the tall version. I went with a semi-gripper top because I think it should mimic stock seat pretty closely. I didn't want to get a all vinyl, but I wanted something with grip, and I've heard that their super gripper top, or whatever they call them, is what tears shit up if you're not wearing like nylon riding pants, and I occasionally do ride in jeans and commute to work and whatnot. Another little update, some of you have mentioned this on the thread or the Facebook groups. Yeah, mine is leaking too. That will be coming off here soon. I was going to do an oil change in 100 miles. I don't know if I'm going to take it off before the oil change. Those things, yeah, it's a nice concept, a little gimmicky. I thought it was cool, but now that everybody else is having trouble with them, I'm not even going to bother getting a replacement. That thing is going straight in the trash, and I'll put the stock one back on. So that's it. Just a quick update. Like I said, I'll try to get out tomorrow. Get a little side view of these bars. Oh, that's another thing on these bars. I don't know why. They're not really any taller or any more, I don't know, they're not really shaped that much differently, but it seems like there's so much more real estate in here now. It just looks, I don't know, to me it just looks like so much cleaner. can't explain it. It's not that big of a difference in a bar. But there's a little side view. Just finished walking around. But thanks for watching, y'all. And for the ones that watched my last video, my son's fiance is doing great. She is here at the house with us now. She's a remarkable young lady. She's doing awesome in her recovery, and she could be going back to work in a few weeks. So that is all positive here on the home front. But that's it, y'all. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'd appreciate it. I'm trying to grow this channel just a little bit at a time. Not that good at it, but we're trying. So take her easy, guys. Ride safe.